Your planet will thrive. August 5, 2014. The higher vibrational impressions you can receive are unlike anything humanity has yet officially discovered, but when you start to pick up on them, you'll notice that they become easier and easier to tap into with each attempt you make. As long as you're willing to remain diligent and committed to the channeling process, you'll find that the messages you scribe from various entities and collectives become easier and easier to bring through as you reduce your mental rigidity, and allow every expression to flow through in an uninhibited way. The key to connecting with your higher selves and the rest of the company of heaven is to completely diminish the influence of the ego, and let yourselves exist in a very pure space where the ego is subdued. You're much more able to do this than many of you realize, and if you could only realize just how infinitely capable you are of every higher dimensional ability you're starting to rediscover, you'd be very surprised. Your skills will surprise you. You'd be surprised because for the most part, you've been conditioned to think of yourselves as limited human beings who are incapable of any greater abilities you've been led to believe don't exist. A wealth of greater abilities exists beyond humanity's conscious understanding, and the sooner you realize that they exist, the sooner you can tap into them and reap the flowing rewards such a connection will offer. You'll be very glad you did. And we can say from our experience watching various awakening souls discover and access their immense spiritual abilities, that the skills you'll be able to hone will surprise and amaze you. You'll start to grasp your infinity, and you'll see that everything you've been taught to believe is impossible is actually more than possible. As humanity's consciousness rises, you'll greet the descent of various higher abilities that you would have never realized you can access, and when this happens, we can envision far more souls awakening to the role they're meant to play in your planet's ascension, and happily playing such a role in an age of higher vibrational clarity and development. When every soul on your planet can actively serve the light and contribute to the restoration that's destined to take place, this restoration will be brought about relatively easily, and you will be assisted by waves of guides who've been watching your earthly ascension play out for centuries of your time. We have a wealth of advice and guidance to offer you, and with the advanced technologies your galactic family possesses, which can be used to clean up the widespread pollution plaguing your planet and for plenty of other functions, your planetary restoration will be easier than it might have otherwise been. We don't intend to talk about your planet's restoration if it'll be a piece of cake, however, and despite the assistance you'll be given, there'll be plenty of challenges that humanity as a whole will be tasked with solving. You'll have to be able to come together as a collective to create the greatest changes you want to see, and the company of heaven won't be able to exist directly on your surface until your planetary vibration has reached a certain purity. This is why it's essential for the incarnate light workers, starseeds, etc. to get as active as you can in funneling the light you carry within to various places on your planet and using it for various creative purposes. We mentioned this in a previous communication, and we mention it again because it's very important to your planet's restoration and ascension. The light you can radiate is more than needed at this time, and various areas on your planet are experiencing a heavy degree of turmoil that could use the light being radiated by a growing number of conscious seekers who recognize that it's their mission to help heal your planet. We encourage you to get physically and spiritually active in changing your planet and helping raise the collective vibration, and your cup runneth over with things to do. Now that you're discovering and honing your abilities, there are plenty of tasks and missions you can take on. We'll forever recommend finding the missions you enjoy the most and pursuing them, but you can always branch out and try new things. Ultimately, every effort you give to the Earth's ascension is valuable and needed. No matter how you choose to serve humanity, your contribution is greatly appreciated, and it'll go on to affect your collective consciousness for the better. Living in love and expressing this love to everyone who's fortunate enough to come across you will accelerate the ascension timetable more than almost anything else, and as always, raising your vibration is key to raising the vibration of the rest of your planet. Transcend spiritual emotional depletion. If you find that you're in a spiritually or emotionally depleted frame of mind, you're encouraged to do anything and everything you can to leave it. Manually put yourselves back in a loving space if you have to, but of course, don't deny any negativity that comes to the surface for review and release. Simply review any negativity that arises with a detached and loving perspective, and transform it into pure, loving energy. You can transmute it easily, but if you let it influence your emotions or behavior, it'll seem to maintain a very strong grip on you. We are confident that many of you are ready to release the grip some lower energies and thought forms have had on certain aspects of your consciousness, and to do this, it's important to root yourselves in love and refuse to leave your loving center for anything. You're on the earth to express the purest love you can muster up, so why not do just that? Why not challenge yourselves and see how far you can take the development of your inner love and the radiating of this love to every sacred spark of consciousness around you? In doing so, you'll find that you raised your own vibration far more than if you would have cut yourselves off from your love or refused to let yourselves feel it in the pure ways that are now available to you. Humanity's consciousness has recently reached a certain, needed plateau, and while much of your collective still feeds into darkness and density on a daily basis, the plateau that's been reached is allowing for even more and purer light to be funneled through the minds and hearts of each of you. With purer light comes more responsibility, and if you give your light away or dip into negativity for small or selfish reasons, you'll feel more depleted than you did in the past, and you'll see, once and for all, that leaving your center is never worth it. You'll hold yourselves back if you leave your center, and there's no real or justifiable reason to do so at this late stage in the game. Whatever reason you seem to find will ultimately fall short when you realize that leaving your center can entail immense unhappiness and the feeling that something essential is missing. In many cases, something essential is missing, and it's your sense of livelihood. The jubilance you've come to earth to spread to everyone around you. You can't reserve your love for any one area of your life. You can't claim to love all of creation but restrict your love to your creative works, and when you can feel love for all of humanity, especially those who are close to you, you'll feel what seems to be missing. Love and closeness are desperately missing from your society, and when all of humanity can learn to come together with respect for your perceived differences, these differences will no longer hold you back from building the society of your dreams. Infinite vessels. Realizing that you're infinite vessels for Source's omnipotent love will help you see that you have more in common than you think, and the understanding that you're each composed of one ultimate creator consciousness will help diminish the prejudice that's kept you divided based on outer appearances and other unimportant factors. Your planet will thrive when your people can come together, refusing to hurt one another for any reason, and the widespread chaos that still plagues so many areas of your planet is unfortunate to say the least. This will come to an end, however, as a natural result of your collective realization of your oneness and the potent actions that'll result. We'll make our final expressions for this communication with encouragement to lighten up when you could otherwise be stressed or frustrated. Despite the extent to which darkness is turned up on your planet, you aren't meant to endlessly worry about your existence or the difficulties that come with it. Difficulty isn't meant to bring you down, but rather, it's meant to strengthen your resolve by testing you in unprecedented ways. You can pass every test that comes before you, and doing so is crucial to accessing and benefiting from your divinely ordained abilities. We are confident that you'll see how important enjoying your existence is, and until you do, you run the potential of continuing to feel weighed down by negativity and stress. If you let yourselves, you can exist on a constant cloud of joy and happiness, and the decision is up to you. Only you can hold yourselves back, and if you continue to live in the stresses and fears of the ego, you'll find that you never really seem to feel whole. Thank you to my higher self and spiritual guides. Channeled through Wes Anak. cultureofawareness.com